So you're a first-time home buyer looking to get into the market and you're wondering, what do I need to be aware of? What are some of the most important things that I need to know? Being a first-time home buyer can be a little scary and overwhelming because this is going to be the biggest purchase you've ever made in your life, and there is so much that you need to know. And unfortunately, too many first-time home buyers make many mistakes that cost them thousands of dollars down the line because they weren't properly prepared or they didn't have the proper guidance. And I don't want that to happen to you. So in this video, you're going to learn the top 5 things that every first-time home buyer in Mississauga needs to know so that you can avoid the mistakes that others have made while setting yourself up for future success when you go to buy your first home. What's going on, everyone? It's Nick Vazquez here. I'm a real estate agent in Mississauga with years of experience helping clients buy and sell properties throughout the GTA. If you're thinking about buying a home here in Mississauga or anywhere in the GTA really, please feel free to reach out to me. You can call me, text me, email me, or book a one-on-one call with me. The link will be in the description below. I would seriously love that. I'd love to answer any questions that you have and help you make a smooth and successful move. Now, before we get into the video, if you do find value in this information, please just do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Would appreciate that a lot. Also, consider subscribing to the channel so you keep yourself informed on everything going on in the real estate market here and just learn more about Mississauga in general if that's something that you're interested in. With that out of the way, let's jump straight into it. As a first-time homebuyer, the first thing that you need to do is understand your budget. Before you start searching for your first home, it's essential to have a clear understanding of your financial situation. This is honestly the most important step, so we're gonna spend a little bit of time on it. Take a close look at your income, your expenses, and your savings. You wanna consider things like what your take-home pay is, how much debt you have or any loans that you have, and what your monthly expenses are. Taking some time to do this will give you a realistic idea of how much of a mortgage you can actually afford. Obviously, if you're currently renting right now, you could factor that rent price into what your mortgage would be, because realistically, with the way that rent has increased over the years, you might be paying something similar to what your new mortgage would be. Maybe the mortgage will be a little bit higher, but still, definitely something to consider. Keep in mind though that there are other costs associated with homeownership, like property taxes, maintenance fees if you're in a condo, utilities, and homeowner insurance. So you should definitely be factoring in those as well. I do have a calculator on my website where you'll be able to punch in some numbers and see what the monthly mortgage payment would be. And you can also factor in things like the property tax, your utilities, and all that stuff. So if you want to take a look at that, definitely go to my website and check that out, and you can play around with it a little bit. Now, that calculator is not entirely accurate because things will change based on your specific situation, like the interest rate may be different or the utilities might be higher or lower based on the size of the property you buy, but still, it'll give you a good idea of what things will cost. So go around playing with that and you can see what your monthly expenses might be. Now, talking about your down payment, generally the more you have, the better, but you don't need 20% down to buy a home. In Canada, the minimum down payment requirement is 5% on a home that's worth $500,000 or lower. So for example, if you're buying a $500,000 condo, the lowest you could put down is $25,000. For homes priced above $500,000, you could put as low as 5% on the first $500K and then 10% on whatever that remaining amount is. So for example, for an $800K home, you could put as low as $55,000 down, which comes out to about 6.9% of the purchase price. Now, if you put less than 20% down, you are gonna have to get mortgage insurance, which is essentially just this extra cost that gets blended into your monthly payments. This will result in your mortgage being a few $100s more per month. Because of that, it's usually better to aim for a higher down payment because it will lower your mortgage payments and potentially eliminate that mortgage insurance component completely if you're able to come up with 20% down. So usually it's better to have more, but you don't need to have more. And in certain circumstances, it may be better to put less down on a house to get into the market sooner. If the market's taking off and homes are appreciating very quickly, then it may be beneficial to get into the market sooner with a lower down payment rather than waiting to try and save up until you hit 20% down. Just because if you're saving and saving and saving and the market just appreciates really rapidly, it's going to be really hard to catch the market that way. Now, of course, the caveat with this is that you need to be able to afford the monthly payments. There are some government first-time home programs and incentives that can help you out here. Like, for example, you could pull some money out of your RRSP tax-free to use as a down payment on your first home. I'll link some of those government programs down in the description below. And there are some other options that I have access to that can help you increase your down payment so that you can get into a home sooner. I do have a video on my channel explaining that method, but if you do want to see that, just drop a comment below and I'll send that to you. Now, once you have an idea of your budget and your down payment, you need to get pre-approved. The process is very simple. It just involves submitting your financial information to a lender and they're gonna assess your creditworthiness and get you pre-approved for a mortgage. It is very important to be working with a great mortgage broker because they'll be able to give you a variety of options and help you get the best rate and terms for your loan. A good mortgage broker will also be able to help you out with your finances here, where they can present the information to the lender in a more favorable way that'll help you with your pre-approval and help you get a bigger pre-approved amount. It's completely free to do this, and it's a very important first step before you go out to start searching for homes. The pre-approval will give you a clearer understanding of what mortgage amount you can actually qualify for, and it'll help you narrow down your search for homes and allow you to negotiate confidently when you start going after those homes. Right now, with where the market is, you gotta be ready to start competing with other buyers. So having a pre-approval up front will give you the confidence that you can aggressively go after the homes that you want if they're in your budget, and you can beat out some of that other competition. So being pre-approved is being prepared. So if you're ready to start searching for homes, or if you're just wondering what you would be approved for, just reach out to me. I can connect you with an amazing mortgage broker who could streamline the process and make it very easy for you. Again, it's completely free to do this, and it is a necessary first step, especially in today's market. Now, don't get discouraged if your pre-approval comes in low. You need to understand that the market here in Mississauga and the GTA in general is a very tough market for first-time homebuyers to get into, just because home prices are very high. But if you understand how the game works, then you can still succeed. And the way things work in the GTA here is that it's a move-up system. You're not gonna go out on your first time buying a home and buy a massive detached home. That's not really how it works. Your first home is not gonna be your forever home. So you need to start small. Just buy something now that you can afford, live in it for a few years, and as you're making your mortgage payments and the market appreciates, you'll have the opportunity to sell that house and move into a larger and bigger one. Think of it like this: buying a house is kind of like a savings account. Those monthly payments that you're making, a portion of that is going towards your mortgage, which now becomes your equity. And over time, as that equity grows, you can think of that as your next down payment on the next house that you're gonna move into. After a few years of paying down the mortgage and the market appreciating, all of that equity that you're building up, you'll have so much more money than you had when you started that you can then use as a down payment on a nicer, bigger house. So don't be upset if your pre-approval comes in low. You just need to adjust your strategy a little bit, and you can still find a great house as a first-time home buyer that will put you on the path to success so that you can ultimately get into the house that you really want to get into. And by thoroughly understanding your budget, getting a pre-approval and all that stuff, you'll have set a very solid foundation on your first-time home buying journey. For the next point that you need to know when buying your first home, it's important to determine your needs. What are the top priorities that you need in your first home? What are the top 5 non-negotiable items that the home absolutely must have? Take some time to think about what it is you actually need and what things you can live without. Obviously, if your budget's a little bit limited, then your wish list may be a little bit smaller than you'd like, or you may have to compromise on some things there, but that's why it's very important to get pre-approved up front so that you can have realistic conversations and realistic thinking sessions about what you can actually afford and what you can get within your budget. I'm sure you've heard this before, but location is one of the most important things when you're looking to buy a home. And with Mississauga being a vibrant and diverse community with so many different neighborhoods and vibes to choose from, it's important to do your research on what neighborhood you want to live in. So think about all the things that each neighborhood in Mississauga offers, do your research, and consider things like how far the neighborhood is from your work, how far it is to other amenities that you like, restaurants, shops, and all that fun stuff. If you have kids or you're thinking about having kids, how are the schools like in that neighborhood? How safe is the area? Thinking about all these things and figuring out what it is you actually need in a home will help you narrow down your search so that you're only looking at homes that match exactly what you're looking for. And once you have a clear idea of exactly what it is you're looking for, it'll give you the confidence to move forward on the house that checks all of those boxes for you. Moving on to point number 3, and that is to hire a great realtor. When you're starting your journey as a first-time homebuyer in Mississauga, finding a reliable and experienced real estate agent is crucial. A knowledgeable real estate agent will be a valuable resource to you. They'll be your trusted advisor, guiding you throughout the whole complicated process. They'll be able to negotiate a great deal with you and protect your interests throughout the transaction, and they'll also be able to help you find the perfect home within your budget. Look for an agent who specializes in the Mississauga market. They should have in-depth knowledge of exactly what's going on. They should know the neighborhoods, they should know the trends, they should know what's going on with the market. And on top of that, they should be able to listen to your needs, understand your preferences and budget constraints. A reliable agent will be asking you a lot of questions so they can understand exactly what it is that you're looking for, and they'll be able to tailor the search based on what it is that you need. They should also be very responsive, keeping you up to date with what's happening and answering all of your questions as soon as they can. And then on top of all that, you probably want someone that's pretty good at negotiating so that they can help you get a great deal on your first home, or just help you actually get into the home when there are multiple offers. And of course, working with someone that has a lot of connections like mortgage brokers, home inspectors, real estate lawyers, and things like that is a plus as well. All in all, a great agent will help make the process as stress-free as possible, while also giving you the confidence that the home that you're gonna move forward and purchase with is the right one for you. But it is important to find someone that you trust and someone who really understands what you're looking for and has your best interests at heart, because unfortunately, there are a lot of agents that will take advantage of people and just look at them as a paycheck, and that's not someone you want to work with. It's completely free to work with an agent when you go to buy a home, so it's super important that you take some time to pick the one that is the best fit for you. And of course, if you are looking in Mississauga, then I'm your guy, so please reach out. And if you're looking around the GTA or Southern Ontario as well, I have a lot of clients that buy properties in the cities surrounding the GTA, so again, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to chat. You could book a one-on-one call with me and we can see how we can help you hit your real estate goals. Moving on to point number 4, and that is to do thorough inspections. Typically, when you buy a home, you'll have two major conditions in your offer: a financing condition and a home inspection condition. Now, in a market like today where there is multiple offers becoming more and more common, you may have to submit offers without conditions if you really like the house. Obviously, there are going to be some risks associated with that, but if you're working with a great agent, they can help you mitigate some of those risks. I'm not going to get into that stuff in this video, but if you do have questions, just reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer them. Now, once your offer on a house gets accepted and before you waive your conditions, it's important to hire a professional home inspector so that they can actually get out there and inspect the house so you know exactly what it is that you're buying. The inspector will take a look at all of the major things in the house and let you know what needs to be repaired. They'll inspect things like the foundation, the roof, and then some of the systems of the house like the electrical, the plumbing, and the HVAC system. They'll be making sure that there's no structural issues, that everything is working as it should be, that there's no safety violations or anything like that. They'll also be looking for any leaks or mold growing in any areas. Basically, anything that would cost a lot of money to fix, the home inspector will find that before you move forward with that purchase. You'll get a nice big report with everything that you need to be aware of the house so that you can review it before you decide that you want to go through with the purchase and actually buy that home. Also, once you get that report, you can potentially negotiate on that price, especially if some major things come up. You could get a better deal on that house if you do want to still move forward with that purchase. That inspection report will give you the peace of mind that you need to move forward with buying that home, because you'll know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Moving on to the last and final point that you need to know as a first-time home buyer, and that is to be prepared for additional costs that come along with purchasing a home. There are extra closing costs that come on top of your down payment that you will need to pay to actually make that purchase. Some of those closing costs include the land transfer tax, the lawyer fees, and adjustment fees. The land transfer tax will be roughly 1 to 2% of the purchase price and will be the biggest closing cost that you have. As a first-time homebuyer, you will get a rebate for $4,000 when you do your tax return. If you're buying a property in Toronto, you will get taxed twice, so that tax will basically be doubled. But as a first-time homebuyer, the rebate will be doubled as well, so you'll get $8,000 back. Lawyer fees typically cost between $1,500 and $2,000, and adjustments are roughly about $500. You should typically have about 2 to 3% of the purchase price saved up on top of your down payment to cover those closing costs. Also, keep in mind to budget for some moving costs or buying furniture if you don't have anything like that. So there are some extra costs that you want to be aware of, and knowing these costs up front will help you avoid unnecessary stress down the line, and there will just be less surprises. So of course, budgeting for that stuff, very important, and we're going full circle here as we're talking about budgeting again. Again, budgeting is the most important first step. I hope these first-time homebuyer tips helped you out a little bit and gave you an idea of where to start. If you're thinking about buying a house in Mississauga or anywhere in the GTA really, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can call me, text me, email me, or book a one-on-one call with me. The link will be in the description below. I'd love to answer any questions that you have and help guide you through the complex process to ensure that you have a smooth and successful, stress-free move. So reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did learn something new, please just hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to learn more about the real estate market here or just about Mississauga in general. Thanks again for watching. Reach out to me if you're thinking about moving, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.